Secrets of the Sands, uncovering Arabia's hidden past. Imagine you're standing at the absolute edge of human civilization, just gazing out into what looks like a seemingly infinite ocean of golden waves. For most of us, the deserts of Saudi Arabia evoke these images of a punishing sun and an empty, lifeless expanse, right? But if we carefully peel back the layers of this incredibly harsh environment, we actually find a completely lost world. The absolute silence of this vast desert is guarding secrets that will, frankly, change exactly how we view our entire planet.
So is the desert truly empty? It really begs the question. When you're out there standing breathless on the edge of the dunes, feeling that bone-dry wind hitting your face, the illusion of an endless, lifeless wasteland is overwhelmingly convincing. I mean, the sheer scale of it makes you feel incredibly, unbelievably small. But beneath that sweeping, heavy silence lies a monumental deception. This massive, untamed vault is literally alive with history. It's hiding strange natural phenomena, forgotten ancient civilizations, and deep geological mysteries that remain largely unknown to the world. Today, we're going to completely shatter that illusion of emptiness.
Okay, let's dive into this, comparing today's view of endless dry sand dunes with an ancient reality of rivers, lakes, forests, and hippos? Yes, hippos. The geological reality of this landscape is absolutely mind-blowing. Today, sure, we see thousands of miles of dry sand stretching all the way to the horizon. But thousands of years ago, large parts of the Arabian Peninsula were lush and green. Scientists have unearthed undeniable, hard geological evidence of sprawling ancient rivers, massive freshwater lakes, and incredibly dense forests. And it gets wilder. The fossil record proves that massive animals like elephants and hippopotamuses once thrived in this exact region. Just imagine standing right now in the middle of a blistering dry desert, knowing with absolute scientific certainty that early humans once walked beside vibrant, life-giving lakes in that exact same spot. It's a record of a profound, drastic climatic transformation.
To truly grasp the sheer magnitude of this changing landscape, we have to look at the timeline, from the ancient green era to the rise of Hegra, the era of spice caravans, and finally, modern satellite discoveries. We're taking a cinematic descent into the past here. We start with that lush, ancient green era of lakes we just uncovered. Then, as shifting climates and relentless sands slowly swallow the natural greenery, human history had to adapt, which led to the rise of incredible rock-carved cities. After that, we entered the highly perilous era of spice caravans, where brave merchants navigated the newly harsh terrain. And finally, we arrive at our current era, peering through the sand from space. It's this breathtaking story of a landscape constantly transforming, bearing its own past under billions of tons of shifting earth.
Hegra, an ancient city carved directly into giant rock formations, and this brilliantly illustrates the human trace left behind. Deep beneath the drifting dunes, completely isolated among the sands, lie the traces of entirely lost civilizations. Hegra is honestly one of the most incredible archaeological archives on Earth. Much like the famous city of Petra in Jordan, it's a city where intricate stone structures, towering columns, and elaborate tombs were carved directly into the sheer faces of giant rock formations. For centuries, this majestic place remained carefully hidden from the wider world. Today, it stands as a silent, monumental testament to the sheer willpower of the people who stubbornly mastered this unforgiving environment thousands of years ago.
Moving on to ancient caravan goods, spices, incense, gold, and silk. Because you see, these civilizations weren't isolated, not at all. Long before airplanes or cargo ships or modern paved highways, the Saudi Arabian desert was actually a vital, bustling crossroads of the entire world. Ancient caravans embarked on these incredibly perilous, life-threatening journeys straight across these very sands. And they were carrying treasures that literally shaped empires. We're talking exotic spices, fragrant incense, precious gold, and delicate silk. These dangerous routes were the ancient arteries connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. Navigating through the blistering heat and the endless dunes, these forgotten desert merchants essentially shaped global history and economics, carrying the immense wealth of nations right on the backs of camels.
Scenery that looks more like another planet than Earth. As we push further into our expedition, the geography gets, well, incredibly bizarre. When we think of Saudi Arabia, we usually just picture sand, but the region is geographically stunning and vastly more diverse than you might ever imagine. Take the region of AlUla, for example, where these massive surreal rock formations rise out of the dunes like towering natural skyscrapers. It's a landscape so alien that filmmakers frequently compare it to Mars. And even more shocking, the presence of massive volcanic fields known as Harat. In places like Harat Khaibar, vast black volcanic lava fields stretch right across the Golden Desert, creating these dark, lunar-like landscapes that perfectly capture the raw, violent geological history of our planet. Now, comparing daylight survival with its deadly, blistering heat against the nighttime reality of freezing winter cold, surviving in this beautiful, alien landscape means you're facing extreme physical trials. Most people naturally assume the desert is just constantly, oppressively hot, right? But as any seasoned explorer will tell you, the reality is a story of visceral, intense sensory extremes. During the day, yes, you face a deadly heat that rapidly drains every ounce of moisture from your body. But as soon as that sun dips below the horizon, the thermodynamics of the sand cause a dramatic, immediate shift. The nighttime reality can literally plunge into freezing winter cold. This rapid, extreme contrast between day and night is absolutely one of the most demanding survival challenges in desert environments. It constantly tests your heat tolerance, your endurance, and your absolute adaptability. And then there are the walls of dust dropping visibility to zero in minutes. Literally minutes. Imagine you're driving or just walking, and suddenly, the entire horizon vanishes. Desert sandstorms in Saudi Arabia possess incredibly terrifying, raw kinetic power. Massive walls of dust and sand can suddenly materialize right out of nowhere, moving with ferocious energy to swallow entire highways, engulf whole towns, and drop your visibility to absolute zero before you can even react. For ancient travelers, these storms were without a doubt among the greatest, most lethal dangers of desert life. And honestly, even today, all of our advanced modern technology still heavily struggles to stand against the raw, blinding force of nature when the desert simply decides to move. The empty quarter. Beautiful and terrifying. To truly understand the heart of this landscape, we really have to step into the legendary Rub al Khali, famously known as the empty quarter. It is the largest continuous sand desert in the entire world. This is where you find untouched sand dunes that rise higher than modern skyscrapers. The temperatures here can quickly become fatal, and massive sprawling stretches of it remain virtually untouched by human footsteps. It's an environment modern explorers constantly describe as both breathtakingly beautiful and utterly terrifying. The isolation is so profound and the silence so absolute out there that it feels heavier than any words can describe. Now, what's really interesting here is hearing the desert roar in complete darkness. The most fascinating phenomenon happens right within that heavy silence. Imagine you're camped out in the empty quarter. It's pitch black. And suddenly, you hear the desert itself begin to roar. No way, right? But some sand dunes in Saudi Arabia can actually make noise. Under the exact right conditions, the desert produces these deep, echoing, booming, or humming sounds. Locals have long described this as the desert singing. For centuries, bewildered and genuinely terrified travelers passing through in the pitch dark believed these mysterious, low-frequency sounds had to be the work of spirits or supernatural forces. Let's break this down. Step 1. Moving sand and wind. Step 2, friction and vibrations between particles. And Step 3, a deep, echoing hum. So what actually causes this haunting acoustic phenomenon? Well, it comes down to a brilliant 3-step geological reality. First, wind or movement causes avalanches of sand to slide down the steep face of a dune. Second, as millions of these uniformly sized, incredibly dry sand grains slide over one another, the friction creates microscopic vibrations. Finally, these vibrations synchronize and actually resonate within the dune itself, which acts like a giant natural amplifier to produce that deep, echoing hum. It is just a spectacular example of acoustic physics, turning what was once a terrifying supernatural myth into a brilliant scientific reality. Let's see how this builds with satellite imagery revealing strange ancient structures hidden beneath the surface. You might think that in the 21st century, we've basically mapped the whole world, right? Well, the Saudi desert is an absolute master at keeping its secrets. Today, researchers are utilizing highly advanced satellite imagery to literally pierce through the vast sands from space. And what they're finding is nothing short of astonishing. They are continuously uncovering entirely new, strange, ancient structures and ruins that have been perfectly, safely hidden beneath the dunes for millennia. The sheer volume of undiscovered history here is staggering. Archaeologists truly believe there are still entire sites, perhaps even lost cities, just waiting underneath the surface to be found.
So, what other lost worlds are waiting beneath the sand tomorrow? The deserts of Saudi Arabia are not simply empty landscapes of dry sand. They are incredibly dynamic records of dramatic climate transformation, theaters of ancient human survival, and massive vaults of untold history. From the lush green lakes of the ancient past to the singing dunes and volcanic fields of today, it is a land where the silence speaks volumes. So the next time you picture a desert, remember the immense mysteries we uncovered today. What other lost worlds are waiting right beneath our feet, just waiting for the wind to shift?